Hello everyone and welcome to our brand new channel.
We are so excited to have you here for our very first video.
This channel is completely dedicated to helping you learn English.
But we want to do it differently, using everyday conversations, engaging stories, and real-life scenarios.
We hope that by using these formats, you won't feel so bored during your English learning journey.
Because learning a language should be fun, natural, and genuinely interesting.
So, for our debut topic today, we're going to talk about something foundational.
And that is how to actually learn English and make it stick. Have you ever felt like you've been studying English for years? But the moment someone speaks to you, your mind goes completely blank.
You know the grammar rules. You've memorized the vocabulary lists. You've done the exercises. You've passed the tests, yet you still can't hold a simple everyday conversation. Does that sound familiar?
It's like training for a marathon, but only ever running on a treadmill. You're putting in the effort, but in the wrong environment. The truth is, most people are learning English the wrong way. Not because they aren't working hard enough,
but because the methods they're using don't match how the brain actually learns language. Today, we're going to change that. We'll look at 3 core methods that genuinely work. These won't promise you fluency in 30 days. Anyone who makes that promise is not being honest with you.
But if you apply these methods consistently, you will make real, noticeable progress. Progress that you can actually feel. Ready? Let's get into it.
First, let's talk about input. What do you listen to and read in English? Think of language input like food for your brain. If you eat the wrong things, you won't grow the way you want.
The concept we're working with here is called Comprehensible Input. This idea was developed by a linguist named Stephen Krashen, and it's one of the most well-supported ideas in language learning research. Comprehensible input means content you mostly understand, but not completely.
There should be a small amount of challenge in what you're consuming. Imagine a difficulty dial from 1 to 10. If your English level is at a 5, aim for content around a 6 or a 7. Not so easy that you'll learn nothing new. Not so hard that you can't follow what's happening. That sweet spot in the middle is where real learning happens.
So where do you actually find this content? YouTube is one of the best places to start. The key is to choose topics that you already care about. If you enjoy cooking, find English language cooking channels. If you're interested in science, watch English science documentaries. If you follow sports, look for English sports commentary and analysis.
The topic keeps you genuinely engaged. And when you're engaged, your brain absorbs language much more efficiently. You stop thinking about studying and start thinking about the content. That shift in focus is very powerful.
Podcasts are another excellent tool, especially for listening practice. Shows like This American Life or How I Built This work well for intermediate learners. They use natural, flowing conversation, not textbook English. Textbook English and real spoken English are often quite different. The more you expose yourself to authentic speech, the better prepared you'll be.
Audiobooks are also worth exploring. If you've already read a book in your native language, try listening to the English version. Because you already know the story, you can follow along much more easily. This reduces frustration and keeps your motivation high.
American and British TV shows are also a fantastic resource. Shows with lots of dialogue work especially well. Comedies and dramas tend to have dense, natural conversation. But here is a critical tip about how you watch them. Start with English subtitles, not subtitles in your native language.
This is a mistake many learners make without realizing it. When you read subtitles in your native language, your brain takes the easy road. It reads the translation instead of processing the English sounds. Your ears stop working as hard as they should.
With English subtitles, your brain connects the spoken sounds to the written English words. That connection is what trains your listening comprehension over time. After a few weeks of English subtitles, try watching without any subtitles at all. Even if you only catch 60 or 70%, that is valuable practice. Your listening will improve faster than you expect.
Now, A common question: how much time should you spend on input each day? 30 to 45 minutes is a realistic and sustainable daily target. Consistency is far more important than the occasional long session. 30 minutes every single day beats 3 hours once a week. Think of it like watering a plant.
A little water every day keeps it alive and growing. Too much water all at once just overwhelms the roots. Language learning works the same way. Small, steady doses are what build lasting ability.
Now let's move to the part that most learners avoid entirely: speaking out loud. This is the area where the majority of people get stuck. They tell themselves they'll start speaking when their English is good enough.
But here's the honest truth. Your English will never feel good enough if you never practice speaking. Speaking is a physical skill, just like playing an instrument or riding a bicycle. You cannot read about it and expect to improve. You cannot watch others do it and magically get better yourself.
You have to open your mouth and make the sounds. You will feel awkward at first. That is completely normal. Every person who speaks English confidently today was once exactly where you are now.
One of the most effective speaking techniques is called shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker and repeat exactly what they say. Not just the words, the rhythm, the stress, the intonation, the speed. You are essentially trying to copy their entire voice pattern.
Here is how to do it, step by step. Find a short audio or video clip around 30 to 60 seconds long. Choose something with clear speech, not too fast, not too mumbled. Listen to the whole clip once without doing anything else. Then play it again. And this time, speak along with the recording in real time.
Don't pause the recording to think. Don't slow it down on your first attempt. Just speak along as best you can, even if it feels messy. Repeat this 5 to 10 times with the exact same clip. Then record yourself doing it one final time.
Play that recording back and compare it carefully to the original. Listen for the differences in sounds, rhythm, and natural pauses. Then practice again with those differences in mind. This technique is powerful because it targets multiple things at once. It trains your mouth to form sounds that aren't natural to you yet. It trains your ear to notice the gap between your English and native English. And it builds the muscle memory that fluent speaking actually relies on.
You do not need a language partner to do this. You do not need to pay for an expensive class. Your phone and a pair of earphones are completely sufficient. Another simple but effective method is narrating your daily life out loud. This sounds unusual, but it works remarkably well.
When you make breakfast, describe what you're doing in English. When you walk somewhere, describe what you see around you. When you finish a task at work or at school, summarize it in English in your head. Or better yet, say it out loud, quietly to yourself. This forces your brain to produce language in real time under low pressure.
There's no one to judge you. No stakes involved. But the mental workout is very real. Over time, this habit makes it easier to find words quickly when you need them. Speaking to yourself also helps you notice gaps in your vocabulary.
You'll reach for a word and realize you don't know it in English. That moment of realization is a signal. Go look that word up. You will remember it far better because you genuinely needed it in that moment.
If you do want human conversation practice, there are affordable options. Apps like italki connect you with native speakers for conversation exchange. Language exchange means you help someone practice your native language, and they help you practice English in return. Both people benefit, and it costs nothing but time. Even just 2 30-minute sessions per week can make a significant difference.
The key is to make speaking a regular part of your routine, not a rare event. Let's now talk about vocabulary, one of the most misunderstood areas of language learning. Most learners study vocabulary from lists. They write ambitious, having a strong desire to succeed 50 times. They read the list before bed, and by the following weekend, half of it is gone.
Here is the reason why this approach doesn't work as well as we think. Your brain is designed to remember things that are connected to meaning, emotion, and context. A word sitting alone on a flashcard has none of those things. It has no story, no feeling, no situation attached to it. So your brain treats it as low priority and quietly lets it fade.
The far more effective approach is to learn words inside real sentences and real situations. When you come across a new word while watching something or reading something, pause. Look it up right in that moment. You already have context, you know, the scene, the conversation, the situation the word appeared in. That context is what makes the word actually stick in your memory.
When you note the word down, write the full sentence, not just the definition. For example, don't write reluctant, not wanting to do something. Write, she was reluctant to leave the party, even though it was already midnight. That sentence creates a small picture in your mind. Your brain remembers the picture, and the word travels with it. Over time, you'll recall the word naturally because you remember the scene.
For reviewing vocabulary, a free app called Anki is extremely useful. Anki uses a system called spaced repetition. This means it shows you each word right before the point when you would normally forget it. It spaces out the reviews intelligently based on how well you know each word. This is far more efficient than going through a list from beginning to end every single day. 15 to 20 cards per day is a manageable and effective target.
Stick to it consistently, and your vocabulary will grow steadily without feeling overwhelming. One more important point about which vocabulary to focus on. Not all words are equally useful. The most common 3,000 words in English cover roughly 95% of everyday speech and writing. You don't need a massive vocabulary to communicate effectively. You need the right vocabulary, the high-frequency words used confidently and correctly.
Learn those core words deeply before you start chasing rare or unusual ones. Once you have a strong foundation of common words, learning new vocabulary becomes much easier. Because new words often connect to words you already know. Language builds on itself like a wall built one brick at a time.
Now let's talk about grammar briefly, because it's often overcomplicated. Grammar study has its place, but many learners overdo it. They spend enormous amounts of time memorizing rules, but they struggle to apply those rules when actually speaking. The reason is that real speech happens too fast for conscious grammar rules to help.
When you're in a conversation, you don't have time to mentally check each sentence structure. Fluent speakers don't run grammar rules through their heads before they speak. They've internalized the patterns through massive amounts of exposure and practice. So how should you approach grammar? Use grammar study to understand patterns, not to memorize rules.
When you notice a structure in something you're reading or watching, look it up. Understand why it works the way it does. Then look for that same structure in other content you encounter. Noticing grammar in context is far more powerful than studying it in isolation.
For specific questions, grammar reference books like English Grammar in Use are very helpful. Use them as a reference tool when you have a specific doubt. Don't try to read them cover to cover like a textbook. Focus your energy on input and output. Grammar will gradually fall into place as your exposure grows.
Let's now look at some common mistakes that slow learners down. Mistake 1. Waiting until you feel ready to speak. There is no magical level of readiness. The discomfort of speaking imperfectly is a necessary part of the process. Embrace it early and it becomes easier much faster.
Mistake 2. Studying English only in formal, structured ways. Textbooks and courses have their place, but they cannot replace exposure to real, natural language. Balance structured study with plenty of authentic content.
Mistake 3. Focusing too much on perfection. Native speakers make mistakes too. Communication is about being understood, not about being perfect. Let go of perfectionism and focus on getting your meaning across.
Mistake 4. Stopping and starting repeatedly. Consistency is the single most important factor in language learning. 2 months of daily practice beats 2 years of irregular study. Build a routine and protect it.
Mistake 5. Relying too heavily on translation. When you translate every sentence back to your native language in your head, you slow yourself down. The goal is to think in English, even if only partially. This takes time, but it starts happening naturally when your exposure is high enough.
Now for some practical tips you can use to build your English habit. Tip 1. Change your phone and computer language settings to English. You interact with these devices dozens of times per day. Every small moment of English exposure adds up significantly over time.
Tip 2. Label objects around your home with their English names. This sounds simple, but seeing the words in context every day reinforces them. Tip 3. Find an English song you enjoy and learn the lyrics. Music is one of the most effective memory tools that exists. Lyrics teach pronunciation, rhythm, vocabulary, and natural expression all at once.
Tip 4. Reading English before bed, even for just 10 minutes. Choose something easy enough that it doesn't stress you out. The goal is to make English the last thing your brain processes before sleep.
Tip 5. Follow English language social media accounts on topics you care about. Even scrolling through comments exposes you to real, informal, everyday English. Tip 6. Keep a small notebook with you and write down any English you encounter that surprises you. Unusual phrases, expressions, idioms, collect them and look them up later.
Tip 7. Set a small, specific English goal for each week. Not improve my English, that's too vague. Something like learn 10 new words connected to food, or shadow one clip every morning. Specific goals are far easier to follow through on.
Now, let's interact for a moment. Think honestly about your own English learning right now. Which of the 3 main areas we discussed is your biggest challenge? Is it finding consistent, interesting input to consume each day? Is it overcoming the reluctance to speak out loud and practice your output? Or is it building vocabulary in a way that actually stays in your memory?
Write your honest answer in the comments section below. I genuinely read every comment that comes in. Your feedback shapes the content I make for this channel. If you have a specific question about any method we covered today, ask it there. I will do my best to respond to as many as I can.
And if you found today's video useful, sharing it with one friend who's also learning English would mean a lot. It helps the channel, and it might genuinely help them too. Let's close with a clear summary of what we covered today. Method 1. Find comprehensible input that genuinely interests you. Watch, listen, and read in English every single day.
30 to 45 minutes is enough, as long as you do it consistently. Use English subtitles instead of native language subtitles, and gradually work toward watching without subtitles at all. Method 2. Start speaking out loud today, not when you feel ready. Use the shadowing technique to train your pronunciation and listening simultaneously.
Narrate your daily life to yourself to build real-time language production. Consider language exchange apps for low-pressure conversation practice. Method 3. Learn vocabulary in context, not from isolated lists. Write down full sentences, not just definitions. Use Anki with spaced repetition to review efficiently.
Focus on high-frequency words before chasing rare vocabulary. And remember, grammar will improve naturally as your exposure and practice increase. Don't let grammar study become a distraction from actual language use. Here is one action you can take today, right after finishing this video.
Go to YouTube and find one video in English on a topic you genuinely enjoy. Watch 10 minutes of it with English subtitles. Then watch the same 10 minutes again, this time with no subtitles. Write down 2 or 3 new words or phrases that you noticed. That's it.
That one small action is enough for today. Small steps, done consistently, are what builds real fluency over time. Don't compare your progress to anyone else's. Everyone learns at a different pace, and that is completely fine. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even on the difficult days.
One final thought before we wrap up. Language learning is a long game. There will be weeks when you feel like you're making great progress. And there will be weeks when everything feels difficult and slow. Both of those experiences are completely normal. They are part of the process for every single language learner in the world.
The learners who succeed are not the ones with the most talent. They are the ones who keep showing up, even on the hard days. Even 10 minutes of English on a busy day is better than nothing. Keep the habit alive, and the results will come.
Next time, we'll explore how to improve your English reading skills specifically, including which types of books and articles work best at different levels, and how to build a reading habit that doesn't feel like homework. We'll also look at how reading connects back to vocabulary and speaking,
because all of these skills reinforce each other when you approach them the right way. Until then, keep practicing, stay consistent, and be patient with yourself. Progress in language learning is rarely linear. Some days you'll feel confident, and other days you'll feel lost.
Trust the process, keep going, and the results will follow. You are making more progress than you realize. See you in the next one.
Good luck, and enjoy the journey. Bye for now.